Welcome back to Sun Crypto. In today's content, we're going to talk about BTC very shortly, and then we're also going to talk about DCR, Bitshare, Ark, and Nuls, right? So just for a very short live stream. So as we mentioned before, right? So regarding BTC, making a double bottom and another push to 9K, then 11 and 12K, right? So it's not a 1200, it's 12K. So we talked about it exactly like BTC going back down to retest. Let's go to the lower time frame first. On my last live stream, BTC was just about like a 78 to a 79, and then we said like we're gonna come back down, retest 72 to 74. We did that exactly, and then got a big support from 74.44 in that range, and then we just got rejection from like 8100. So the correction is playing out perfectly. A three-wave move to the downside, a ABC correction just about this area, coupled with a flat correction, a big move to the upside. So I'm looking for BTC to retest 9K very shortly, and then most likely we're gonna get some sort of rejection at 9K. So it's not gonna, I'm not expecting like BTC to go like straight to 11K without getting any sort of a rejection at 9K again, right? So we're most likely gonna get a rejection, a push through, right? So BTC is extremely bullish. Let's go to the daily time frame. It is cleaner when you take a look at the daily time frame. It is not a correction to go back retest like 5K. I said it last time when BTC was just about like 7800. I said like we're gonna come back down to 74 and a push through, right? It is looking beautiful, beautiful when you take a look at the daily time frame. So BTC is looking pretty much very strong, and then the volume is looking great. We're not even receiving like a big volume on the daily time frame. When you take a look at it, it is just like pretty much constant, right? So all of a sudden we're gonna get a big volume to the upside. So I'm expecting just about this area, like very shortly we're gonna get like a big volume just about this area. We're gonna be getting like some big volume like sometime in late June or so. So expect that, right? Expect that from BTC, at least for the short term, to receive like some big volume. So let's take a look at the weekly time frame, see how much volume we got so far this week. So the weekly volume, like we kind of like receiving a lot of selling pressure. It's not looking good when you take a look at the weekly, but the daily time frame, the correction is looking beautiful. So I'm not expecting like 11K this week or so, but I'm expecting at least like some sort of big rejection, this type of candle at least for the short term before end of the week. So change it to red. So I'm expecting BTC to be able to get us at least this type of candle like before end of the week. So a big rejection, like small body, right? Big tail, small body. That's what I'm expecting before Sunday. If it is like green, it's okay. Like let's say we get a bigger rejection with a bullish reversal candle, that'd be great. But I'm not expecting like a BTC to be able to close just about 9K before Sunday. So I'm not expecting it. I'm just expecting like a big reversal candle, a weekly candle. So that'll be extremely bullish, at least for the short term. So that's it for BTC. Let's move on to DCR. BTC. Let's go ahead and take a look at Bitshare first. BTS. Bitshare. When you take a look at Bitshare is looking great even on the weekly time frame. We got a big sell-off since like April 1st, like I said, right? The first week of April regarding crypto is very important. Also like May 13th, right? The second week of May, it is pretty important. So we moving sideways even on the weekly time frame. It is holding very strong. When you go on the daily time frame, I'm not expecting like a 50 to 60% move from a Bitshare, but at least for the short term, we could like at least retest like let's see, like last week of April, right? So it'll be pretty bullish if we like if Bitshare will be able to retest at least this area, with a big big candle to the upside, just like we talked about the other day, like XZC right before the big move to the upside. We talked about XZC going back to May 1st, May 5th in that range, and that's what they did exactly. So I'm going to show you by XZC next, right? So, but I'm looking for, at least for the short term, we got this, it's not a divergence, but it is pretty strong, right? The RSI is looking pretty strong. So we're not getting any divergence, but the RSI is looking pretty strong. Very, very, very aggressive. So very aggressive. So very aggressive. So keep an eye on Bitshare, at least for the short term, to retest just about like let's see, 950 to 1050, right? 950 to 1050, at least for the short term. 950 to 1050. It is going to be very volatile, so it's not going to be a perfect target. So it is going to be very volatile very shortly. The volume is not looking that bad, at least on Binance. I don't think it's more than let me take a look at it. I don't think it's more than 50 BTC, but I have to double check. It's just about 30 BTC. So once we hit this target, it's going to be more than 1000 BTC very shortly. So the buying pressure is not heavy. It is just like it is okay, like but it is not heavy at all. So but a lot of people are buying it currently on Binance. But 29 BTC is not that bad at all. It's not that bad with a a bigger decisive RSI. So I'm looking for a big move, at least for the short term. So let's move on to Ark. Ark BTC is looking very it is looking very aggressive. I talked about it last time when Ark was just about 7,000 sats, right? So right now we're sitting on just about like a 750. So it is on the lower time frame, on the 4-hour and on a 12-hour time frame, it is looking great. But on the daily time frame, you have to wait a couple more days, maybe a couple more hours to see like the big move. So Ark is basically looking like a XZC. When I talked about XZC last time, I don't think I talked about Ark at the same time, but when I talked about XZC, we got a big divergence on the RSI. Price was looking flat. RSI, very decisive, very aggressive. Was very aggressive, and then we got that 50% move to the upside. So I'm expecting also Ark, to get back to this area, like let's say mid-April. Ark is very aggressive, so you can even see like just about this area. So I'm looking for Ark to get back like to mid-April prices, right? Mid-April prices. So and then it is going to be a very aggressive move, just like XZC, right? It's not going to be like a I'm not expecting like 5%, 10% move, up to this area. I'm expecting like a 50 to 60% move from Ark. So you take a look at ZILLIQA, AION, ICX, all of them moved up like almost like 40%, recently, and Ark is still like lagging behind. So I'm expecting a very nice move from Ark, at least for the short term. So let's move on to Nuls. Nuls, still lagging behind. We got a big rejection, just about like I think 10,000. We cannot pass like 10,100. So for some reason, every time we get back to 10,500, we just got a big rejection. So you take a look at the bottom formation. It is looking beautiful. We're making like some high lows just by this area, that area, and now we're making another high low. So we could come back and retest like just about like a 9,500 in that range, but it is looking pretty aggressive. So it is looking pretty aggressive. So you can draw your triangle. Most people are going to be looking for this triangle, right? So, but you know, I wasn't even paying attention to this triangle, but I saw like, you know, the pattern building up, you know, big divergence on the R side earlier, you know, just like that. So the R side is more aggressive than the price. So the price, you know, the price is relatively not flat, but the angle is not, you know, the angle is not that aggressive as, you know, as the R side. So, but most people are going to be looking for this triangle, but I'm not. We can say like it can come back and retest like a 9100, but I wouldn't bet for. I'm looking for a big move to the upside, you know, from this area. So, because we retested this area like you know, almost like 7-8 times, and you know, we got a big support from this trend line. Most likely we're gonna break it very shortly. And target for nulls is nothing but just about this area. So just about this area. That's a final target, but let's target for the short-term target. You know, I'm looking for first week of May, right? So we're most likely gonna get some rejection at first week of May. So you would be looking at just about, you know, another 30% move to the upside from nulls, right? Very shortly. So let's move on to DCR. Couldn't find it earlier. All right, now it's Decreed. So Decreed is looking beautiful, man, just like XDC. So it is basically, you know, the same type of pattern, same type of rejection, like I told you, like about XDC. I'm gonna show you XDC, right? So same type of rejection. It is, I think, like it is, you know, the very next coin to be breaking out on Binance, like with a 30 to 50% move. It is looking extremely beautiful. It is looking extremely aggressive, like with this big rejection to the upside, right? So big divergence. You know, you take a look at the R side, you know, just about this area, looking very aggressive, man, very aggressive, right? So we could get a fake out to the downside just to retest, you know, the trend line before a big move to the upside. So, but DCR, that's a daily time frame. It even looked like a you know, 4-hour time frame, because, you know, because of the volatility, you know, up in, not the volatility, but these rejections, right? So let me take a look at the volume on Binance. It's just about like 38 BTC. So it has like plenty of room to go, like to get like to a, you know, 1,000 to a 2,000 BTC very shortly. So and the current price is nothing but like, you know, on dollar value just about like $26, right? On BTC value just about 0.0033, right? 0.0033 BTC. So it is only up 2%, right? 1.78%. So keep an eye on Decreed, at least for the short term, right? Keep an eye on Decreed. It can be very aggressive, just like that, right? Just like that, just like that. So you can see, like, you know, we got a big divergence back in let's see, like late February, same exact divergence, just about this area, just about this area, right? Just about this area, right? And then you see we got a almost like a 50% move to the upside, you know, back in early mid-April, right? No, not April, but March, right? Mid-March. So I'm expecting like Decreed to repeat this pattern, just about this area, to repeat, you know, this exact pattern with a 50 to 6% move to the upside, right? So keep an eye on Decreed, right? So I think we talked about Bitshare, Decreed, Ark, and Nulls, right? So I'm just gonna talk about XZC very shortly, because we talked about last time before the breakout. And then we're gonna compare it to Decreed, right? I think like they both like a privacy coin. Take a look at the XZC. We talked about exactly same exact pattern, same exact target. We said like we got a big divergence. You can compare this divergence with the Decreed divergence, right? Same exact. So you would be waiting for like, you know, XDC to come back down, retest this trend line, but it's not. It's just give us this big move to the upside. That's the same exact pattern I left, just about this area. So that was like yesterday, right? So that was yesterday. So you go back to let's go back to decrease. You take a look at the divergence, same exact pattern. So I'm looking for the same exact move. I mean, we could get a delay and say like, most people are gonna, figure out like it's gonna break out, and then the price gonna drop. But, at some point we're gonna get that 50% move to the upside, just like XDC, right? And GXS. So we also talked about GXS a couple of days ago before that 50% move to the upside. So let's take a look at GXS BTC. So we talked about this coin like a couple days ago before the breakout. So I'm gonna explain to you guys how I, most of the time figure out like this coin gonna be breaking out. I cannot explain it. It is just something like you take a look at the chart and then you take but you have to be familiar with these coins. You can just like take a look at the coin like in one day and say it's gonna break out. So that the divergence was pretty big. Big sell off. Big rejection. I gave a big signal, about this coin going back up to like first week of May exactly. So all these coins, they're gonna go back to first week of May to late April. So most of these coins like with this big divergence. So I'm not sure if you're holding any of these coins. It is not a financial advice, but most of them they're gonna go back to late April, first week of May prices. Before they're gonna come back down 50 to 6% to the downside, right? Come back down 50 to 6% to the downside. All right, let me take a look at the chat room very shortly before we move on. So you also got metal, MTL looking extremely bullish. I might take a look at it very shortly. Let's see if anybody got any question. Otherwise, I'm going to take a look at metal and then we're going to call it a day. Hey, what's up, Sonny? Hey, what's up, Santos? Hola. What's up, Drew? XDM. I'm not familiar with XDM, but I'm going to take a look at it. Hey, what's up, John? E. Banks. All right, I'm going to take a look at XDM. And then and metal, right, for XDM. I can find XDM, so maybe you mean Digitalnote. So but I can find XDM. So but let's move on to metal. I think you mean XDN. Yeah, you mean XDN probably, Digitalnote. Okay, you take a look at Digitalnote. It is looking pretty aggressive. So Digitalnote, I haven't taken a look at it like for a while, but it got to my target just about this area. And most crypto, right? How they kind of bottom out because haven't taken a look at XDN for a long time. But you take a look at the target was just about this area of 19 sats, right? We got exactly at 19 sats. Let me show you very shortly. Most crypto, when you go back to April prices, most of them, right, they 90% like come back. 90% out of time, they 9 out of 10, they come back down to this area. So you take your fib levels, you go back to late April, just about the bottom, and then you swing high to swing low. They're coming back down exactly to 1.27, right? Most crypto, they're very close to 1.27, right? 1.27. So you go back to before we talk about digital, now let's move on to ICX BTC. When you go back to ICX BTC, that's how I figured like ICX is gonna be making a big move just about this area. Target was 390 to 411. I got that on my trading view. Also ICX coming back down to this area. So let's see if I can find it. ICX BTC. Okay, ICX BTC possible retracement just about this area. So that was like May, first week of May, right? So ICX was, you know, basically getting a big sell-off to the downside. Even though ICX was extremely oversold, you know, I was still looking for ICX to come back down like to 410, right? In this range, 390 to 410. And if you take a look at it, ICX bottom out at I think like just about 410, right? I think like 410 in that range, but it was pretty close. And most crypto, like since April 1st, they came back down to this like 1.27. So if you're holding a coin, you can just go and check it. They pretty much like 90, like within 10%, within 10% within like 1.27, 10%. So within 1.27, most of them, not all of them. So let's go back to XDN. I just wanted to talk about that before I forget. So you take a look at XDN, beautiful, you know, bottom formation. You know, we're most likely going to spike to the upside, going back to also like late April. I'm looking for late April. So for XDN, so at least for the short term, a late April move from XDN. I'm not holding any XDN, so I don't think Binance has it, but we could be looking for a big move from XDN. We already got a big move from it, but you know, got a big rejection. So but we could be expecting like another, you know, possible like a 40 to 50% move to the upside, just like that. So it is pretty aggressive, very, very aggressive. Let's take a look at metal. I think it's MTL. MTL, same exact pattern as you know, Digitalnote, right? I just talked about. It is looking extremely, you know, extremely bullish. I got a setup of metal also, like that was back in let's see, MTL BTC. MTL BTC, exactly. You know, we got the same setup from MTL BTC, and then we're looking for MTL to get back to like you know, just about like 685, right? So, but you know, we got rejection just about. We almost about to hit the target, like, and then this one was only like a couple days ago, June 2nd, right? I put up this update. So, but metal, but we could go much higher than you know, this target, because the RSI is very, very aggressive. Even though we're not getting any divergence, it is pretty aggressive, man. But it is pretty aggressive. But I hate to leave this area empty just like that. So we're most likely going to get a big sell-off after that, because, you know, we're going to get a big, you know, empty area just about this area. So kind of like that, right? Kind of like that, you know, kind of like this big empty area. So it just has to come back down later. So I wouldn't be holding it like too long. You know, once we get to let's say 8,000, 9,000 level, I wouldn't be like you know, be holding metal too long in that area. So yeah, that's about it for today, man. I just wanted to make a very short live stream. Altcoin are looking very bullish, man. They looking extremely bullish. BTC is not looking that bad, but it's just gonna have to hold strong until like altcoin like get some type of a run up, just like back in March. You know, altcoin was looking extremely bullish back in March, and then you know, BTC gonna make another breakout, like to 11, 12K, and then altcoin gonna drop back to you know, drop back down to maybe 50 to 6% again. But it is what it is. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. But altcoin are looking extremely bullish. All of them, they're looking extremely bullish. So VeChain is kind of what I think about VeChain. Let's take a look at VeChain. VeChain is kind of slow, man. It's not slow in terms of technology, but I'm talking about in terms of like volatility. You know, you take a look at VeChain, same exact target. We came back down to 1.27. So 1.27. Most of this crypto with like a normal structure, they come back down to like 1.27. ICX, VeChain, you know, OneChain, all of them. So VChain is it's not looking bad. We got a big not a divergence, but our side is looking pretty aggressive. But it's not just volatile. That's the thing about VChain. You're just not going to be expecting like those big move to the upside. So it is something like you're just going to have to hold and you know, and wait for the gains. But I'm not expecting like VChain with like a 60 to 70% move to the upside like Decreed or XDC. But it is looking pretty bullish. You know, very you know, decisive our side. But we could come back and retest like a 86, 87, but we're just gonna have to wait and see because we got a big rejection. So it is looking bullish. That's a good thing. That's a good thing about VChain. It is looking bullish. So I'm not expecting like a further sell-off until we get back to you know, first week of May to you know, mid-April prices. So you would be looking at like another 50% move from VChain, at least for the short term. So a 50% move from VChain before end of the summer. I'm not expecting it to get there like in a week or, you know, in 2 days or so, but it is looking bullish. It is looking bullish. All right, guys, I'm just gonna call it a day. Just gonna finish off with a BTC USDT, and then we're gonna call it a day. All right, as we talked about, you know, as we talked about on my previous live stream, I'm looking for BTC to retest like a you know, 9K and then push through to you know, 11K to 12K, right, sometime during the summer. So RSI is looking great, man. The daily RSI, you know, we're getting a U-turn. Like I said before, we're not going to get a straight sell-off to the downside. We're going to come back, retest 74 to 72. That's what we did. Now we're pushing to the upside, right? So we're pushing to the upside. Take a look at the 4-hour time frame. You know, we got a big flat correction. Most people were looking for this. Let's see. Most people were looking for this triangle, right? It is still correct, right? You got your triangle, ascending triangle, right? Most likely, you know, volume was decreasing. Most likely you're gonna get, you know, a sell off to the downside and then get your you know, flat correction. So you gotta remember, right? You get your triangle, right? And then you get your, you know, rectangle. That's it. That's all you get. And then you're gonna get your flat. You're gonna get a bull flag just about this area, right? A double bottom, a bull flag, a push through. You know, Bitcoin been making this type of pattern like like all the way up, like from all the way down from 3800, right? We've been making the same exact pattern, you know, ascending triangle, drop to the downside, make a flat correction, a big move to the upside, a bull flag, a push through. So it is looking extremely bullish. It is looking extremely bullish. So extremely bullish. So, but keep an eye on BTC for a possible you know, 12K to 11K. All right, thank you for watching, man.